Hey guys, it's me Kevin, and today I'm doing round 20 AFL Tipping. Anyway, to start off the round, we head to the MCG on a Friday night where Richmond take on Geelong. I'm putting Richmond by 25 points because Richmond, well, they've broken a new record. They've won the most amount of games at the MCG, consecutive. So why wouldn't you tip Richmond? It's at the MCG, and that's where they're going to be playing pretty much all their games for the rest of the season. The only one time they're not playing at the MCG is at Metricon Stadium against Gold Coast. That they should easily win because Gold Coast are playing bad. So, but Richmond at the MCG, I'm tipping Richmond. Saturday afternoon, also at the MCG, Hawthorn versus Essendon. I'm tipping Essendon. The way they've been playing, like Hawthorn, well, you'd expect, the last 2 weeks, you'd expect them to win by big margins because they're against crap sides. But Essendon, they've been playing a more quality brand of football, especially last Friday. So, I think Essendon are up to something, and for once I'm actually going to trust them and put Essendon. Saturday afternoon at the Gabba, Brisbane versus North Melbourne. I'm putting North Melbourne because Brisbane, as I said, they had a few fluky weeks back, but now I think they're not playing as well as they were a few weeks back. So, and North Melbourne able to beat West Coast. I know it was at Blundstone, but still, they've got their season somewhat back on track. So I'm putting North Melbourne. If they win this, then yeah, their season will be alive again. Saturday twilight at Adelaide Oval. The Adelaide Showdown, Adelaide and Port Adelaide. I'm going to be tipping Port Adelaide because Adelaide, their season is effectively over. Not mathematically, but you'd think so. Meanwhile, Port Adelaide, they're going to be hungry for a top 4 spot. And Port Adelaide, they won the last showdown, and I think they'll win this showdown as well. Providing they have a lot of their key players with them, because they have had a few injuries the last few weeks, but yeah, I'm tipping Port Adelaide. Saturday night, St Kilda versus Western Bulldogs. I'm going to be tipping St Kilda because the Bulldogs, you're not seeing anything from them. St Kilda, they've had a few recent wins. I think the most famous one was against Melbourne. I think that's probably effectively the reason why I'm tipping St Kilda is because recently, like the Bulldogs, the only team they've been able to defeat that outside the bottom 6 or something is Geelong. Meanwhile, St Kilda, they were able to cause a draw against GWS a number of weeks ago. Not the last one, a number of weeks ago. And they're also able to defeat Melbourne. I think St Kilda, they have a stronger chance of winning than the Bulldogs. That's just my opinion. And they were plucky against the Giants last week. I know they never got the result they wanted to, but they were plucky, so that's why I'm tipping St Kilda. Also on a Saturday night, the SCG, Sydney versus Collingwood. This is ugly. I remember the old times where Sydney, second to the ladder, almost unstoppable, but now they're just absolutely shocking. First they lose to Gold Coast, then they lose on a ground where they've been playing so well for a while. That's Etihad Stadium, by the way. And the SCG, their form has been shocking there. Collingwood, the only 2 teams they've lost to in the last since from round 9 onwards, the only 2 teams they have not beaten are the 2 teams that are in the 2 top places. Those are West Coast and Richmond. But Sydney, unless they win this week, I don't think that I'm going to be tipping them for the rest of the season. Simple as that. On Sunday, early afternoon, Kilda versus GWS. I'm going to be tipping the Giants. They are playing really good footy at the moment. Kilda, they just got their second win, but that was against lowly Gold Coast. But GWS, they're playing really good brand of footy. They should get a top 4 spot, hopefully. Nothing else to say about this. Sunday afternoon, Melbourne versus Gold Coast. The only game of the season where Gold Coast actually play on Channel 7. Unless you're in Queensland, obviously, or unless if you're like living in WA, South Australia, New South Wales, and you're watching your local team playing them. But anyway, I'm gonna be tipping Melbourne. They just had a really good win against Adelaide last week, so their season they need to win this game definitely if they want to stay in the finals, and they have to win against Sydney next week. Those will be the two easier games to win because they've got West Coast round 22 and GWS in round 23. Those are going to be really tough. So if they're going to make finals, they have to win this game, and they'll have that in their mind. So yeah. And lastly, to end off the round, we have the Adelaide Showdown, but we also have the Western Derby on in the same round. West Coast versus Fremantle. West Coast, look, part of the reason why they lost last week was because it was very windy, okay? It wasn't windy, but it was at Bloodstone Arena. And if you're not North Melbourne, you're pretty much going to lose there. So, yeah. Fremantle, their performance has been shocking, though. And West Coast, providing they get Luke Shuey back, they may even get Lewis Jenner back, West Coast should win. Simple. So, to recap my tips, I'm tipping Richmond, Essendon, North Melbourne, Port Adelaide, St Kilda, Collingwood, GWS, Melbourne, and West Coast. Hope that helped you with your tipping, and I hope you like the new screen editing. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.